February can feel like a slow time in the hunting calendar, but in Florida, there are still opportunities. Small game seasons are open, and some WMAs offer hog quota hunts. I drew a hog quota on a WMA not too far from home, so my buddy David and I loaded up to see if we could get on some hogs, and maybe do a little scouting for deer and turkeys along the way.
Got it.
I'll be right back.
Waiting on David to come outside. Here he comes. He's got about 4 gallons of water. He's got his lunch with him.
It smells terrible, by the way. I'm gonna leave it inside the truck till I get in. Somebody go get my wife a kiss.
What were you doing the whole time? I thought you were in there long enough to make a baby.
And it only took 5 hours to get ready today. So I drove around in here. I couldn't see much from the road, but we could go deeper towards the creek where we've seen the sign before. Actually, there's a spot me and Brody went one time. There's a little island if you want to try to go to that.
We could.
Or we can go to side.
I don't know nothing about that side.
Where I found them last time was all the way back around the back.
Where you spot burning.
I ain't spot burning. Nobody's gonna care about no hogs. Nobody knows where is except for the people that know where is. You could say swamp witch all day and they ain't gonna know where that's at either.
Yeah, but that's not like that's a name we made up because it looked.
What if it's made up?
Somebody did make it up one day.
Like the one I got next weekend at WMA is so eat up. They're in a swamp that's normally full of water waist deep and it's completely dry right now and they're rooting it up.
Maybe we look for that same kind of behavioral pattern here.
I'm thinking they're gonna be near water. So this is what we're looking for. Kind of looks like a tractor's been there or something's like digging. Sometimes you get armadillos digging, but you'll know the difference. It's a lot bigger. This one's semi-fresh. Let's see if we can find some real fresh stuff later as we walk around and see what we get. But oh yeah, it goes to 24. There you go. That's got to be a buck. See the ant, like the spot? I don't know though. I mean, it's shed if it is. Oh, it's so hard to hold that still.
Yep, there we go.
Well, get that run. That tail, that flag, that's a big flag, dude. That's a big tail. That's a good sized deer.
So, driving, just stopped and talked to somebody, and they gave us, older gentleman, very nice, told us where to go to find some hogs. So we're gonna switch up our plan, go to another spot. Man, if I was a kid, I'd be one out there playing on that dirt.
That dirt pile is awesome. Let's see if I can get it.
I kind of want to climb it right now.
Look at that thing. That's a good dirt pile for a kid right there.
Well, we got out here to where that nice gentleman told us to go.
You think?
A bafflehead duck, if that's what kind of duck it was, scared the bejesus out of me.
I think it's bufflehead.
You said it thinks it's a bufflehead?
I think it's bufflehead.
Well,
I don't know, some kind of duck that's not the greatest to eat. But
got some old rooting in here. That's a good looking spot. They'll hear us coming. Oh yeah. See, there's some looks like you can kind of tell it's not super fresh, but you can look up here and see there's this kind of worn in trail. So see, like right here, looks pretty old, pretty dry. Is it what? Just gotta walk along. Like all this is fresh in here. Yeah. And all this. Yeah. Oh. Man, you know what we should have brought? Just a chair. Yeah. I was thinking if we could find somewhere to sit. I was just thinking that we should have brought our saddles to get elevated. Even a chair though, like yeah. Maybe just try to find a stump somewhere. I was thinking like a little more side maybe. Yeah. What you want? Yeah, they don't.
think he's talking about somewhere in here.
Yeah. So we gotta go a little further.
Yeah, I think we can take this. Got a fire break out to the main road.
Mm-hmm.
And then see, or we can just keep working our way through here. It's eventually going to come out closer to the road in a second right here.
Sucker. That's like a good, can't get my hand around that tree. I think it'd be a good spot to hunt now because you could be over here. Yep. And if the wind's coming off that creek, I'll get him in here quietly. You can hear him coming though. That was a, I mean, that's old, but that was a monster. Somebody got a good one off of that.
We got back in the truck and started driving the roads a bit, and before long we realized we'd probably misunderstood the direction the gentleman had given us. He wasn't talking about that creek at all. We started to figure it out as we passed a few different landmarks, and his direction suddenly made a lot more sense. On the way, a hog ran out in front of the truck. David jumped out to try to keep eyes on him and get a shot off if he could. But the hog disappeared into the tall grass. I climbed up on the truck and tried to pick him up in the scope, but he was as good as gone.
Oh my gosh.
I had my water boots on, so I wanted to go after him as best I could, but I didn't want to swim for him.
There it is. A bunch of older type. That's a big hole.
Dude, there's so much poop still all in here. Poop. Poop.
As we kept exploring this block, the sign just got better and better. The rooting was fresher, there was a ton of poop around, like a lot of poop, and we really started to feel like we're getting close. We followed the trail of poop out to a road that looked like the boundary between public and private land. Private was fenced on the left, public on the right. The road showed up inside the WMA on Onyx, so instead of busting through the brush again, we took the easy route and decided to follow it back to the truck. No sooner had we agreed on that and started walking than we heard something moving in the woods. It definitely wasn't a squirrel.
Might have just been a squirrel.
We had finally caught up to the hogs we'd been trailing. A sounder, basically a herd of hogs for you educated swine, was feeding just on the other side of the fence, maybe 20 feet away. Unfortunately, they were on the private side.
Maybe we can tuck back into these woods and just like see if they cross.
Go over here and see if they hit this pond.
We watched them for a bit, trying to decide if they were working their way to us or from us. It seemed like the smartest play, really the only play we had, was to head back over to the right side of the road and hope that they crossed.
That's a good one right there. They're gonna cross.
We tucked back into this dried pond in the WMA where we could see the road from, but as we're walking in, we see fresh rooting right here, so chances were the hogs had already been in here and crossed the road to the other side. We were hopeful but not confident. With the sound of them across the road getting further away, we accepted that they weren't going to cross here and headed back to the truck, following the road to see if we could cut them off. We walked along the road listening to the hogs all the way back to the truck and got there just in time to see them cross. probably within 100 yards on private land.
Perfect. So I was right there in the back too. All three of them. It's a house. Just watch. Perfect. It's out. Come on. That's on where they're going. Just go back in. That's a good size hog right there. All three of them. I can hit that one all day right there. Perfect broadside, dude. Why they got me on private land?
We watched them until last light, hoping they'd eventually cross back onto public, but they never did. As frustrating as it is knowing we could have shot them and had them in the truck in 30 seconds, that's just not the game we play. Moments like that always remind me of Luke 16:10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. We got to watch a great sunset and saw a bunch of deer on the way out of the woods. All in all, it was a good day. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see y'all next time.
Can't resist.
Oh my gosh. And there he goes. He couldn't help it. We had to turn around and come back. No, actually we came back the next day. It was bothering him. Oh my gosh. Didn't even make it up there. Oh jeez. He wanted to do the Tuscan Raider thing with his gun in his hand. I said, probably not safe to climb with your gun in your hand. All the YouTubers would be like, that's not safe. Cracking me up. And what is he doing? He's hiding. Hold on. So I gotta show you this. So this truck just drove by, and he didn't want the truck to see him climbing the hill, which is even funnier. So he hid behind the hill over here. Sorry for the fast pan. He hid behind the hill so the truck couldn't see him coming by. That's even funnier. Cracking me up. There he goes. He pound busted his butt. He's cracking up. What the heck? If he does a heel click, I would even die even funnier. Do a heel click! There you go.
Let me tell you right now, we should just go get our guns and sit on top of that thing.